Hey everyone, welcome to the Costume Jewelry Chronicles with Lynn and Carrie. Each episode we will feature a new vintage costume jewelry designer and talk a little bit about jewelry reselling. We hope you enjoy. Hi everyone, welcome to the Jewelry Call. It's November 26th and today we're talking Edwardian jewelry. And I have a presentation ready for you, so if anybody does anybody have any questions before we get started? Or we will take them afterwards.
You're good to go.
All right, I'm sharing my screen. Can you see the Edwardian era picture? Okay. All right, again, we're talking Edwardian era, which was from 1901 to 1914. And it was produced obviously between 1901 and 1914, coinciding with the reign of King Edward VII of the United Kingdom. And he reigned from 1901 to 1910 after Queen Victoria's death and slightly beyond until World War I began in 1914. He did love luxury and a carefree lifestyle, and it shows in his jewelry. It was all about diamonds and platinum when we're talking about fine jewelry. And then the Edwardian period was a short time period, so it's pretty precise, and I think you should be able to pick out the items if you see them. So it was known as the Belle Epoque era, which means beautiful era. This period reflected opulence, sophistication, and refinement. And the innovation of oxyacetylene torches allowed jewelers to work with platinum for the first time, and they could create delicate and intricate designs with that. Milligraining was started because of the use of the platinum. Milligraining is extremely tiny beaded detail that finishes the edge of the piece, as you'll see on this close-up picture of this piece. And it created delicate and intricate designs. And you could get this finish by using tools like this. They would roll this on the soft metal and create a beading. And it was done previous to this, but it was done by hand, so it wasn't as precise as you'll see it in this era. The diameter of this wheel actually could be as little as 2 millimeters, so it's very tiny. Some of the materials they used in, well, platinum, in precious platinum, that was predominant. It was often layered over gold for strength and durability, and then white gold appeared later. But in costume jewelry, silver-plated brass and nickel was often used to mimic the look of platinum. And then rolled gold, which is a thin layer of gold bonded to a base metal, was common for affordability purposes. Diamonds. He loved diamonds. They had diamonds in old mine cut, rose cut, and early brilliant cuts. And they used pearls and some colored gemstones like sapphires, rubies, and emeralds, but often just as accents. And they were rarely worn. It was mostly diamonds and platinums. Platinum. And marquise and emerald and baguette cuts were new, as well as the brillet cut, which is like this little stone here hanging. These are briolet cuts in diamond earrings and lavalier necklaces. But in costume jewelry, they used glass paste, which is a highly polished glass cut to resemble diamonds or colored gemstones. Some people call them rhinestones, and rhinestones were made from glass or quartz in the early days, often set in delicate metal settings, as you'll see here. And they also used faux pearls. This is one of my favorites, was the enamel guilloche, which is a decorative technique with engraved patterns. This was machine done, as you see it best on this blue compact. And it was popular to give color to the pieces, like pale pinks, creams, and blues. Occasionally, darker enamels like navy blue and black were used as accents to highlight delicate motifs. But over here is a necklace. You'll see it a lot on these other types of pieces. This is a pendant, and you can see it in the background here and in the background on this trinket box. But it was also done on jewelry as well. And I zoomed in here so you could see it a little bit closer. It's still hard to see on them littler pieces. Some of the different themes and motifs they used was like nature-inspired motifs where they used flowers, vines, bows, ribbons, laurel wreaths, garlands, swags. So kind of a flowing type of style. And they also did animals. But I really honestly did not see a whole lot of animal motifs. It was mostly this other type. They did romantic styles like hearts and lace-like patterns and intricate scroll work. And the reason they did this was because the dresses of the time were becoming more lacy. And you'll see the necklaces and earrings kind of resemble the dresses of that time. The classical style was also popular. The neoclassical designs like Greek key patterns, like you'll see here, and Roman laurel crowns, which I'm going to go back to this one. This piece right here is a laurel crown. And then some of the features, just kind of summarizing, they did light and delicate pieces, which mimicked fine, airy designs seen in the platinum jewelry and the delicate laces in the newer dress styles, and intricate details in open work, like on this piece on the left. They had a focus on white, like fine jewelry. White metals and clear or pastel stones dominated, reflecting the era's preference to the soft feminine look. And symmetry and balance, as again in this piece over here. They did a focus on refinement rather than bold, big statement pieces. And if they did mourning jewelry, they usually used like a black ribbon, and they would attach their existing pieces, which were clear rhinestone pieces a lot of times, to that black ribbon. Some tips in helping identify Edwardian jewelry is to look for delicate settings and filigree work, even if the material is not fine metal. Stones are often paste or rhinestones, but well cut to mimic real diamonds. The presence of white metal finishes, sometimes showing wear that reveals the base metal underneath. Occasional gold accents like rolled gold or gilded finishes were sometimes used, but white metals were most fashionable during that era. Colors of white and clear, pastel shades of like soft pinks, blues, and greens, lilac, lavender, with some rich jewel tone accents. Though not common, their deeper, more vibrant hues appeared in some costume jewelry, like ruby red, sapphire blue, and emerald green. other fastening systems like C clasps, like this one here, and the early safety pin style catch. This is a really good picture of one that I found where this lever folds back and the pin can come out. That's the early version of a safety roll clasp. They call this one the safety lever catch, and it was patented by the Herpers brothers of Newark in 1901. So you'll see this one a lot. It wasn't used for a real long time. 1930s is when the roll clasp came out. So it kind of converted over to that at that time. The trombone clasp, this was invented in 1910. And since the era was till 1914, you'll see some of the trombone clasps during that time frame as well. Here's another, this is called the safety pin clasp. And sometimes that you'll see that on the back of these pieces as well. That was an early 1900 time frame piece. Some of the notable designers of the time was Grippoy with their hand-poured glass, Jacob Bengel, he was from Germany. Theodor Farner was from Germany as well. He was famous for enamel work. And Coral, which in the later 1920s, they were more popular, but they did produce some Edwardian style pieces in their founding years between 1901 and 1910. And then among many other unsigned manufacturers. So in summary, Edwardian jewelry mirrored the elegant, delicate designs of the era's fine jewelry of diamonds and platinum and followed suit with the changes to the fashion styles of the day, like the creating of softer, flowing, more lace-like dresses. And that is the gist of Edwardian jewelry.
Great job, Lynn. So for Edwardian jewelry, I just pulled up things on eBay listed as Edwardian jewelry. So I want us to go through them and just look at them together to see if you agree with whether it's Edwardian jewelry. And here, that's my Zoom screen, not jewelry.
The one thing I
So,
noticed
yeah.
when looking on eBay was there's not a whole lot of Edwardian jewelry on eBay, in my opinion.
I would agree.
I was searching, and there, like you said, there's a lot that's listed,
hmm
but whether it
I would
really
agree with
is,
that.
I
Well, I
don't
So
know.
noticed,
I tried, yeah, go ahead.
sorry, I noticed in that listing it says Edwardian Art Nouveau. Is Art Nouveau the same or similar to Belle Epoque?
These time periods overlap, so they're kind of guessing. And you seen Edwardian kind of has that flowing, soft look like Art Nouveau. So some of them may be really hard to distinguish the exact time period, but they're all around that same early 1900s time.
And do you guys use any of those terms in your listing?
I will
I
use Art
don't, but
Nouveau. I'll use Art Nouveau before I'll use Edwardian because it
Me too.
seems Edwardian being such just almost a 14-year time period was so small that there's to distinguish it, it's going to be a little bit harder. You might think it is, but
I also
you
feel
know,
people are more likely to search Art Nouveau than they are Edwardian anyway.
yeah, I agree.
unless it's maybe got some English hallmarks, then I might use Edwardian or something, but because it would
That
have
wouldn't
that,
You kind
matter.
of have
right?
to you have to use all the aspects, the different
Mhm.
clasps, the filigree work, the does it look like it could be a diamond and platinum piece, even in just with rhinestones? Kind of have to look at all aspects.
Yeah, Lynn, you showed that brooch with the clear, well, it had diamonds in it, but do you guys check for diamonds when you get those clear, there's so many of those clear rhinestone pieces out there that I
I
always
don't.
just assume they're
If they're
rhinestones and
set
I
in
don't
gold,
check.
maybe. I think I've had maybe the whole time I've been doing this, like 2 rings that were set in 14 karat gold, and I checked those just because they were set, to set it in gold, and they passed the fog test, and I just checked those, but otherwise I don't because If it's not set in
I
a
do.
precious metal, the value is not all there.
Well,
You
if
do?
it's a real early piece, I think you're more likely to find them in the early pieces, like late
Probably.
1800s, early 1900s, than you are the
That's
1920s,
probably true.
30s.
And then would they be set in sterling or just silver tone?
Yeah,
They would be set
or
in sterling.
gold
Do you think that
or
the
vermeil.
be able to say that they're diamonds and you're sure that they're diamonds really like does that make you price them a lot higher or just some higher or
Well, it makes me think the piece is valued overall, it's valued more because it's going to have
Mhm.
probably a gold filled, gold plated, at least gold plated, gold filled or solid gold or sterling or vermeil. Yeah, I think it gives it more
Mhm.
value. Diamonds
I think it
alone
probably
are not worth that much, but having an early piece like that, I think it would give it some value.
so so I think I'm on the same wavelength as you. So I even though I don't test or whatever, if you get used to it, you can tell I won't call it diamond. I don't lie about it. But I mean, if you're holding it, it's an early piece. It's well made, good quality. You can tell it's probably gold filled. You can tell it's probably whatever. I still price it accordingly. So I bet my pricing is not that much different than like when you have it and you say it's diamond, except the person I'm not authenticating saying it is diamond, right? Like, but it's still the same age, it's still
Right.
the same quality. So they're buying it more based on so you probably just have one up on me by the testing. Like somebody might be more likely to buy yours because it says that it's diamond.
And do you guys, I have such a hard time telling if I test something and it tests as 10 karat gold, I still don't know if it's solid 10 karat gold or if it's vermeil or if it's, I don't know.
I had
Oh,
I struggled with that. It's still somewhat of a struggle for me, but I think I finally like crossed over the line where I think I can determine that now. So when I scratch it on the testing stone and I put 10 karat um, tester on it, acid on it, if it disappears, I mean, if it stays, and I'm pretty sure it's gold plated just by the look of it, if it stays for a little while, I know it's either gold plated or gold filled. Them two are harder to determine, but the longer it stays on the stone, the little mark, the more likely it is. Gold plated will stay for about 10, 15 seconds. Gold filled will stay for maybe a minute and then start to disappear. Gold, gold will not disappear. For how long? If you leave it on there 5 minutes, um, that's kind of how I've been determining it.
that's good to know. Thank you. That's helpful.
I've been surprised because so I don't do the scratch test. I have it tested, but it's because they do it for free or whatever. And it tells the exact makeup of the metal, percentage wise when they shoot it with those guns or whatever. And that lady keeps telling me, you can get one. They're only 18,000 refurbished. I'm like, I don't think that's going to work in my business plan, guys, but whatever. So she always writes down on a sticky note and gives it to me. Each time she shoots a piece with it, she writes down what the makeup is of it. And I always find it interesting because some of them that I feel like the really old pieces that I'm sure are maybe I'm more leaning towards gold filled just because of the look and how you can they're almost always hardly any gold content in them. But I think too, when we're doing scratch tests, it depends on how far down we are or how far down we get that really affects it
Yeah.
too. And I've seen some people with like the newer sterling not scratch down far enough and then realize it's plated and it's not sterling and they get it sent back. So I get all confused in that arena, but
Yeah, that is very, very true. And the other thing I will do is look at it after I scratched it to see if you see silver or a base metal that came through. Then you
it's
know
hard
it's
either way.
thin.
That's why I just get ticked off at it. Plus I cannot stand the sound of scratching anything. Like I can't deal with it. So I just put it in a bag, take it to my gold buyer, and I say, these are the ones I want you to buy, and please just tell me what the rest are. And we do that. I'm sending her in the mail my bag of gold and silver right now because otherwise, I mean, they're so small pieces, so they have to shoot each piece, right? It takes forever. They're a small mom and pop shop. they have a line out the door all the time. So I'm like, can I just send it to you priority insured and you can just test it when you have time and send it to me? I would not do that if I did not have a long, I can tell you what their dog and cat's names are. I mean, I trust them. And then they'll just send me a check. I told them I didn't want them to send anything back to me if it wasn't, except for the cameos. I'll sell the cameos as, not gold or whatever, but the rest of it, I don't care. But so I agree, it's kind of hard. And I don't think it's not easy. And so I think Art Nouveau when I see this piece, but like Lynn says, it probably, I don't know if it would be wrong to say, I think Art Nouveau when I see this, but if they knew that this was made in 1910, they would not be wrong in saying it could be either, right? I mean, they wouldn't, if they knew that that was the actual date, which they probably don't, but be my guess. But as far as style, I think Art Nouveau. Do you think Art Nouveau or Edwardian, Lynn?
I see Art Nouveau in that piece.
Because
It's not
flowy.
delicate, it's chunky, it's weighted, it's got a lot more meat to it
It's
than
got the flow
the
from one end of
delicate.
the piece to the other. That always makes me think Art Nouveau. It's like it's almost one process, one piece, one
Yeah,
flowing and a flower. And I mean we did see some flowers in Edwardian, but I feel like we see a lot of the flowers in the
yeah.
Art
And
Nouveau period.
Art Nouveau's flowing hair, there's a lot of ladies and insects and that
Mhm.
type of thing.
So what do we think about this? I probably wouldn't label it either. I almost think Art Deco when I see this more than I think Art Nouveau or Edwardian.
Are you sharing
Boy,
your screen?
Yep.
I'm not seeing it. Why am I not seeing? I just see you.
You gotta click the top tab on the top of the screen there. Just different tabs for Zoom.
Oh, there it is.
I
I
don't
clicked on meeting. Okay, got it.
it's got some of the delicate filigree in the middle.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I lean towards Edwardian on it, but not really. I don't know.
So
That's a
for
tough
me, I
piece.
probably wouldn't have used I probably
I
wouldn't have
wouldn't
used,
have.
no. And it's not
I
a
wouldn't have either.
super early. Yeah, I wouldn't either.
Is it for sure antique though? Because of the clasp?
It looked
It
like it on the
looked
back.
antique. Yeah.
Okay,
Could
yeah,
it,
because I just would put
could they
antique
fake
and
it?
antique clasp.
Could they fake it? Sure.
Did
Does
they
it look real? It looked
did they
real.
use a lot of brass back then?
Mm-hmm. Used a lot of brass in
They still use
especially,
a lot of brass.
yeah. These to me, I think you could almost say were in Edwardian style, more than some
Yes.
of the other pieces that we've seen. It's definitely got the intricate woven look, whether it is genuine, well, it says Edwardian revival, but I thought it was a good example of what I think that would look like. This one is a lavalier. This class, it's old. There's the back.
I think that's newer. Not
think it's
newer, new,
I
but
think
like
it's newer than Victorian times or
30s.
yes,
Yeah, like
maybe even early 40s.
yeah.
I would
Yeah.
agree with that. Just see how this almost runs together, like almost like how pot metal does,
Yeah.
or the chunkier pressed metal. I would agree. I don't think this is like Victorian or Edwardian.
It did have some of the beading, you see that, but I think that's, like I said, revival.
I think this is not. This makes me
I
go,
don't,
what?
yeah, I don't see
This makes me
Edwardian
look
in
like,
that.
this
Ew,
makes me
what is
think
that?
maybe grandma made
That's
it
like,
in the,
It looks like an
it's like,
alien. Just
that's like 80s, 90s,
that's
2000s.
interesting. I don't know who that is. Yeah. It's an artisan piece.
High
I don't
school
know if that
jewelry
person,
class.
yeah, it could be. I've had some very nice pieces that have those artisan type clasps. but they were still artisan pieces. You know, it didn't make them something it wasn't. It was just a very beautiful artisan piece. So, doesn't mean they don't have value, but that one I wouldn't have labeled that way. This one I thought was very nice. It has some fine, delicate features. I maybe even would call those paste stones. I don't know because I don't have them in front of me. What do you think, Lynn?
It's definitely early. Yeah, I could almost say it's Edwardian,
Edwardian
but
with an icky
I
dead hand. God, I hate those.
I think I'm leaning more towards like Art Deco.
That's what I was going to say. Yes, I would find this more Art Deco because it's just the shapes and that's what I think.
It's the big chunky purple thing that's throwing me off.
It may be a replacement piece too. I mean, we may be able, if we saw it in front of us. Janine says she has a slew of Edwardian pieces. A lot of them transition overlap with Art Deco. Yeah, for sure.
Yes.
I'm just not enough of an expert to be able to pin down what's what. So if I'm not sure, I just don't say. I wish more people followed that, but if I don't know, I just leave it out. Now this one I could say, right? You agree
Why
that
does
this
it
is
say diamond pendant? Are there diamonds in it? Oh, maybe right in the center?
maybe
Oh yeah.
could
Yeah,
be.
it looks like it.
Okay.
So this I thought was a good example. I thought this was probably the real deal if I had to guess.
It's kind of got that beating edge like the
Mm-hmm.
what's that say?
So this one I think has a good shot at representing it correctly. See what else I got here. I love these. I am such a sucker for the big brass book chains. So
Book
while
chains, I love them.
I do too. I don't know what it is about them, but and look, it's like
And
all
the
your
puffy,
I know. I
the
love
puffy
them.
piece.
And I always
That
forget to
is
use the word
great.
hollowware. I always forget that we call those hollowware. I just don't call them
Oh
anything.
yeah.
I don't know why I always forget that word. But I love these. And aren't they like your vegetables or something? I think these are vegetables. I don't know
So it
what they
looks
are,
like.
but they're super cool. And I don't think they're Edwardian necessarily. I don't really know, but I think it's amazing. And I wish I would have found this necklace. So I just put this up here because I was jealous that somebody else got this necklace. I really like that necklace. That's the kind of stuff I would collect if I ever went down that road, which I'm not. So this looks like the correct style, maybe,
Now
except that there's a big chunky orange in there.
I lean towards Art Deco on that one.
I think the clasp is newer, but it could have been replaced. You know, we replace our bad clasp. Also the price on it tells me other people maybe weren't thinking that either, but the filigree parts
Yes,
could
for
say that
sure.
the big chunky this part makes me go, maybe not.
Yeah,
So
not so much.
it's an odd style put together, in my opinion.
It's pretty though.
So this is very cool. This has the little paste stones, and I
That's
sell a lot of these.
Victorian.
Yes, so I was gonna say I sell a lot of these, and I label them Victorian if they have these deep set paste stones in them. I also label all of mine untested. Most likely, this is probably gold built, if I had to guess. But this is where I
Yep.
say I let people decide on their own. I'm not spending all day trying to figure out if those are diamonds, and I'm not testing it. I put untested because the style is what's going to sell this necklace. People aren't necessarily going to buy this and meld it down and take the diamonds out. They're buying it because it's beautiful and it's a period piece. That's just my opinion, how I feel about those. I get these a lot. And look, she
But I was just gonna say some of them are marked on the inside rim, so
yeah,
you
that one's
gotta
not,
look
but
closely.
yeah, sometimes they're marked right here. Yep, right on the
Right.
rim. Yep. And I always leave the picture in. So this one, that's where I, maybe don't do my due diligence as a jewelry seller as far as testing and stuff, but I never say I tested when I don't. I just untested, they can decide. But I don't ever do that trying to lead people to like, if I do this, it's because I think it's worth it. Like, I think it's a really nice piece, and usually they sell, so other people must think so too. But you can do it either way, and I think it's fine. Here's one that looks a lot like some of the examples you had. It is a festoon type style. Oh,
Yeah, that's definitely an early piece. Again, they transition over from Victorian too, so
I was
but
trying to
yeah,
see tobacco so you could see how the stones were set, because you can tell there's deep, I don't know what you call that. I always say it's like deep set. They seem to be more flush at the top. They're set deeper in the, and it's partially that it was
Yeah.
made with better materials than what we make stuff out of. You know, we let the material, all the materials speak for it, not just the bling. Um, they're just better made when you feel them, and you can just tell by feeling a lot of this stuff. When you can just, I don't know, you can just tell. I know that's not very good educational purpose, is it? You can just tell, guys. This to me, this is what, and I told Lynn that. I said, I always think of those rigid square camphor glass necklaces when I think of Edwardian. But we learned today that
They did not talk about in
Nope.
all the research, camphor glass was not, it was more Art Deco.
I agree with you. And when I looked it up and I was reading about it, it also didn't mention camphor glass, and camphor glass was pushed into Art Deco. So that was something I learned with this. I don't know about you guys. I hate getting those stupid, I'm always afraid those Italy 925 chains bother me, but I don't have very good luck with them is probably why they bother me. However, it does look like an old piece. Beautiful camphor glass piece though, and camphor glass sells, old early camphor glass sells well anyway. So
It's beautiful.
Camphor glass, is that the shape? Or is that
it's that frosted looking
okay,
glass that has that. That's what it.
Starburst.
Thank you. Lots of times it has a middle rhinestone too, or diamond. So this is an early festoon, is what it's trying to tell us. So when we use background removers, maybe this isn't a background remover. I know I hate that. I don't love that, the way that is. But she has beautiful pictures. This store, I'm going to bring up a few of her other things. They have amazing
Oh
pictures.
yeah.
So much so that I
Yeah.
texted her the other day, and I was like, "Hey, like, can you like give me any kind of inclination on like what camera you use? Like, I realize, I said, but I have no competition for your store, I'm like, and she says, well, actually, I have your store saved. And then she started listing off things I have in my store. And I thought that was hilarious. I was like, what? And she's like, yeah, I check out your store all the time. So they hire professional photographers to come in because they're an actual jewelry store. So they don't do any of their own photography. But she has amazing, if you want to see good jewelry photography, Oxford Jewel has amazing jewelry photography. If you even just check out their front page, their pictures are amazing. I really am impressed.
Do you like the pink though?
No, I hate pink. However, you know how much I hate pink, and I can still say they have amazing pictures because
They're very, the
clear.
image of item looks fabulous. The pink I don't like.
I don't like the pink either, but just the way they lay their jewelry, the way it speaks for itself. But one thing that you notice in their store, you're scrolling through it, there's no filler. It's all good quality jewelry. And I don't love the pink. I really don't. I'm on that wagon for sure. But the pieces of the jewelry are so clear and they take up the whole picture, and they have marvelous pictures. Like here, like let's set this a little on the edge, like.
Yeah, the second one on the top, that nope. You were just there.
This top, not my top.
Stop. Back up right there. The second one
Right.
on the top, that is a perfect example of Edwardian with the Greek key design
Little seed pearls.
and the pearls. Yeah.
But yeah, even though I wouldn't choose the pink myself, the product and the like this, how they have this label, how they have these things.
I love those
Great.
knot thingies. I want to figure out how to like make that or like get one of those.
Oh, that should be pretty easy.
I love it. I just think
I
it's really
I
good.
always struggle with chains like that, trying to
Yeah, and do the little
make
snake
them
on the
look
table.
decent.
I'm like really like bad at that. So I'm like, that would just be so easy.
And like their bracelets, the way the bracelets are, it almost makes it look like they're floating. Even though I don't love it keeps it, I don't know. I just think that their pictures are amazing. So I strive to have their pictures and I never will, but they have, in my opinion, this is my favorite store to look at for pictures. So
Your pictures are good.
ugh, they drive me nuts. But hey, I started a new thing this week, guys. So remind me to tell you after I'm done because I think it's shaved off time in my process, and I thought I was over that. So I did something new, and it's working. So this is another good example, I think. It's got the briolette.
Mhm.
I like how they
Yep.
do the chain like that because you can
Mhm.
see it all and see the detail, and
Yep.
you're
Still
not
see the
See the
looking at
pendant.
an oval shape that's zoomed way out.
There's the briolette. I had a set of cufflinks, swank cufflinks, sell in 5 minutes the other day. I was shocked. Just it reminded me of
Wow.
that because it had yeah, I was like, usually they sit there for forever.
Well, it is the season for wearing cufflinks.
Now, they were very nice, but I get these once in a while and I see this and I think, unless it's Iron Cross making this worth a lot of money, I undersell them because I don't
Oh, well,
charge.
it's a little book locket. Them things sell great, but
I got a piece
395?
the other day that's like a little book, but it's the actual whole Bible in it. Like
Yeah, I
little
Oh
have
my
those.
gosh.
tiny,
You got
tiny
every
mini.
and the words are all in them and they have one of those too.
Wow.
They're very cool.
Yeah.
hmm So I was like, wow, I need to pay more attention to this. But those little fob things are pretty. I think there's a lot of collectors for those little bitty. Question. I'm gonna remind me to ask you about the little fob brooch thing because I never know what category to put them in, and I think I'm doing it wrong. Or how to, if do you title them as brooches? Do you title them as pins? Do you title them as watch fobs? I get all confused. So this lot surprised me. Yeah, they're gold filled, but gosh, I never know what to do with these bracelets sometimes.
I I honestly don't know what's going on with these bracelets, but they've been selling like crazy for me. Just
They're
all of a
good
sudden,
style. Yep.
them and wider ones.
And what, a year ago, you couldn't hardly figure out what to do with them.
Mm-hmm.
Or I couldn't. There's this thing, lots of times on the insides of these, they get worn and it's very hard to see the markings on them. So you really have to look. I've almost missed a few of them.
I feel like I underpriced mine now.
Well, that's what
Would
I
Didn't
was thinking
realize
on
it would
mine.
go that high.
would those be marked in a way that lets you know that they are filled, not plated?
Yeah, it'll say GF.
Yeah,
Yeah.
nice.
You have 3 of them right now. Yeah, see, I have some, but I always, yeah, about a year ago, I couldn't hardly get rid of them. So I need to recheck mine and relook at mine. So this is an early one. Whether it's Edwardian, I think it probably is. I think it'd be okay to say it says Victorian Edwardian. It looks age appropriate. I think I take more pictures of the back than the average bird because of um that's what I want to see, right? That's what I want to see when I'm looking at jewelry. So I feel like I probably end up taking too many back pictures because that's what I want to look at. So
Well,
um
I usually do too.
I think
I
jewelry
take it
buyer.
from every angle, all four angles from the side and straight on and
It doesn't take that much
close up.
extra time, to take all
No.
those pictures. It really doesn't. Before I quit sharing my screen here, if you guys have any sales to share, pull them up, jewelry sales that you want to share. Um, that was my biggest sale of the week, and it is missing a rhinestone right there. However, here's a picture of the said rhinestone. I found it in the bag. I thought I didn't
Ah,
have it, and I was cleaning out, I was taking the rest of the jewelry out of that bag, and it was in the bottom of the bag. So I don't know if that helped or not.
nice.
It probably helped some. But I tried to be very clear that it was missing the rhinestone by taking a picture of it laying there. Um, it was not in like what I would call collector's condition. It wasn't in poor condition, but I made sure in the description, right, this is not like what I would call collector's condition. It had some wear on the back. but that is very, for those of you that don't know, that is a very, I don't know what you call it, a hallmark of Shriner. Lots of times it has that like hubcap type back look to it. And then this weird, I don't know, does this serve a purpose or is this just something I noticed, that little, I see those in Shriners, the little,
The eyelet,
The
they're called hook and eyelet or something.
they're on a
yeah,
lot
it
of them.
holds a piece together.
Hmm.
Yeah, it's just, it seems to be a trademark. I mean, it seems to be a common thing in Shriners. So, the setting didn't scream at me, but I saw one that sold today that looked exactly like this, a Shriner that was not missing a rhinestone. So it brought a little bit more money, but not too much more. It wasn't too bad. So, that was my highest one. And then this one wasn't too bad either. It wasn't signed, but, this is one of the few items I have attributed to a designer that I felt very confident saying it was a Mazer piece. And then I had a few people that collect Mazer look at it and they said, yeah, that's a real iconic Mazer piece early. I took an offer for 300. I think I paid 450 for this one. Wasn't in perfect condition, but it wasn't in bad condition. I also didn't polish it up because it was sterling, and I like to leave sterling alone, let it look pretty and old. And I think that was all. Janine said she had some, I don't know that brand. Do you, Lynn? Of the earrings?
Bliss Brothers. I think she was talking about the etched
No, scroll down.
bangles.
Scroll down where she says, yes, holds the pieces together. And then she says, I don't know how to share, but I had some macaw earrings sell for 110. That's awesome. Michael, oh my God, that's awesome. It's also
I wasn't
awesome.
aware of Bliss Brothers either, but if you look them up on eBay, they sell good. Now I'm aware.
Yeah, a lot of those bracelets are signed for the Bliss
Is it
Brothers.
BB Co?
Yes. Well,
Okay.
yes, but there's also bacon. You got to be careful because there's Bates and Bacon or Bacon and Bates. I can't remember, but
Several marks. Okay.
yep. That's why you got to be careful because there's also other ones that are very similar too. I know I had an internet expert correct mine the last time I had one. So that's a really good price, Janine. Let me see if I can get $100 out of pairings. I don't care what it is. I'm happy. So there's that brand. I didn't know that brand, so we learned a new. I learned a new.
Well, I'm seeing Binder Brothers, also Bodman Brothers, which could all have BB.
Some of them early marks are ridiculous. They were the Morello cherries. Did I already pass it? I must have already passed it. It's funny how they have all different names. Oh, there they are. No, they're not. Look, so they must have fruit themes because there's some blueberries. There's some lemons. That's cool. See, I didn't know anything about this guy. Violets. Ginkgos. That's kind of cool. Did you know it when you saw it, Janine? Like you already knew that it was, or did you learn it then? Or a pine needle? That's cool. Look at that necklace. Look at that pine needle necklace.
Cherry earrings.
Yeah, those are
I
cool.
need those because my store is Cherry Picket.
That's awesome.
Did you show what their mark looks like?
Let's see.
And how did they know it was Morello cherry?
We only got one picture here.
Yeah.
Kind of cool though. See if we can pick a different one and see the marks. No, we only get one picture. Let's pick a different seller here. I think this is Janine. Actually. There's the mark. I saw the mark. This is for MMA. So it's signed MMA, but she must have known about the designer, which is very good. Yes, that's me. Yep. I was like, that's her. Very cool. Anybody else have any sales they wanted to share from this week for jewelry? Had some big orders, but I haven't. That was my only really high dollar one. So I got a new I have been hearing people, the designated phone just for eBay thing. And my biggest problem is I'll be taking pictures with my phone and I look at text messages, I check my email, I check eBay, I get distracted from what I'm doing. And then I think it's taking me longer than what it should. So Jed got a new phone, but his old phone took really great pictures. So I've been using just his dedicated, still smells like pig crap a little bit. But besides that, it takes very good pictures. And yeah, I've done everything to it. It's just gonna smell like farm, I think. But and it makes it so that I've taken all apps off that phone except for eBay and the camera. And it's I think that's gonna work out better for me to help keep my scatterbrain in place, because now I don't get any notifications, I get nothing, I'm just taking my pictures with it. So my pictures shaved off 15 minutes this morning. The last 3 times I've done it, it's shaved off 15 minutes.
So
Larry, what do you have?
I have a question while I have a army full of people that possibly could help me. It's a pair of silver earrings that I've got, and they look really cool, kind of a, real stylized, sweepy kind of thing going on. And I'm trying to figure out the signature. Janine gave me a clue or a suggestion of, she said, put some flour on there or whatever. Instead of that, I used black ink from a dry erase, and it made it pop, but I'm still trying to figure out the signature. It looks like a G-E. This kind of looks like a K. I don't know. Does anybody recognize this as a maker's mark, or is this just hand scribed, scratched in by
It could have been a
somebody?
a silversmith artisan piece.
Yeah. I put it up for sale, I think late yesterday, and I just said signed by artisan, but it's just driving me crazy that I can't figure out this guy's or this person's signature.
Could it be an L and then an R?
Yes. Would you guys agree this is a G or
Yeah,
possibly
like
an H?
girl or girl. Yeah.
There's GenCut, GENKUT on
Yes.
eBay.
That definitely looks like GenCut,
Yeah.
assuming that this is.
Yeah.
And on Worth Point. And they're silver earrings.
One of
And
them
they're
is
modernist.
One of them is stamped sterling, and the other one has the signature. But GenCut, that definitely could be GenCut.
Lynn to the
That's
rest.
how these are too. One signed and one says sterling. I bet it is that.
Oh, yeah, excellent. And the one that's signed, does it have a similar G going on?
Yeah, it looks just like it.
Perfect. Thank you. That's excellent. Thank you.
Awesome.
way to go, Lynn. That was fast.
Yeah.
Yeah, I looked all over for it the other day and couldn't find anything. And then today I opened it up and there it is.
How did you find that? What was your rationale?
Well, I went to Google and typed in the letters I thought maybe it said, and then I looked to see what it pulls up, options it gives you.
Right.
And it never does when you just are putting a name in. It gives you appliances and everything else. And then I just put in what I think, and then I put silver earrings, and then it popped up other people similar to that.
Perfect. Thanks. And Janine, thanks for the comment on flour.
Yeah, I've done
That
that
is a
too.
good
It
idea.
works. It works, yeah.
What would you call this style? It's real sweet.
Modernist,
Yeah.
artisan.
Yep. That's in there. Cool. Thank you.